Okay, breaking 20 minutes for 5K is a dream goal for so many runners, but it's achievable for absolutely all runners if you train smart. Whether you're looking to take your time from 22 minutes and find that extra 10%, or you're at 25 minutes and you want to go 20% faster, today I'm going to share exactly the type of interval session that I use to go from running a 5K in 25 minutes to running a 5K very quickly within just a few weeks in 18 minutes 20. This isn't just another run hard and hope for the best. These intervals are designed for maximum speed and endurance, whilst also being manageable and sustainable for you over the long term. Most runners who run a 5K feel as if they're already maxing out because when they get to the finish line, they're absolutely spent. But if you look at these reviews, you'll see that this types of gain is not just possible, it's probable if you do the right things well. I broke 25 minutes last week thanks to your method. I couldn't do it for years. I've been running for 3 years and I was stuck at 30 minutes. And now I want to try your method to break 10K. Thanks a lot. And if you think it takes years in order to achieve these types of results, then look at this. I've been employing your methods in the running segments of my triathlon training this year. Can't believe the difference it's made in just 4 weeks. Thank you, Lee. Can't wait for the season. Or, I've been following your structured training for a few weeks now. I already feel like my fitness has skyrocketed. I love the simplicity and purpose of this training method. It all makes sense. Cannot wait to see the results in my next half next month in Cambridge. I went from not being able to break 25 minutes for 5K to very quickly running a 5K in 18 minutes and 20 seconds, and then just 3 weeks later running a 5K in 16 minutes and 30 seconds. And it was because I implemented exactly the type of session that I'm about to give you, but more importantly than that, an appreciation that one session won't make you faster. It's the consistency over the weeks and doing one of these sessions every week that's going to make you into a completely different athlete. If you want to become a completely different athlete and run way faster times, whether it's 5K, a marathon or beyond, then please book a coaching call in the link in the description. Here are 6 interval sessions that if you do these consistently, and I like to put them in on a Wednesday, you will move forward rapidly as a runner. Session number 1. 2 times 8 minutes and 2 times 2 minutes with just 60 seconds rest in between. Now, there's 20 minutes of volume to work with there, and there's a reason for that. It's the time that we're aiming at for the 5K. Now, depending on what your start point is at the moment, whether your current best time for 5K is 25 minutes, whether it's 22 minutes, or you're almost at 20 minutes, will dictate the pace that we can go out at for those 8-minute segments. In an ideal world, if you're already knocking on the door for sub 20 minutes, what that would look like is you're running those 8-minute segments at 4 minutes per kilometer at 20-minute 5K pace. And then for the 2-minute segments, you're going up a notch, changing up in gears and going even faster. If your current time for 5K is 25 minutes, what that session might then look like, you can adjust this session to be 2 times 8 minutes 5 minutes per kilometer, and then we're going to go up in pace and do the 2 times 2 minutes at our target 5K pace at 4 minutes per kilometer. And that gives you a nice mix of where you're at the moment versus where you want to be. Session number 2, 15 times 200 meters with 60 seconds rest in between. Now the purpose here is we're trying to improve that top end speed and trying to make 5K pace feel as comfortable for as long as possible. And the pace that you're able to hold throughout those 15 reps is obviously going to be different if you're currently at 21 minutes for 5K or you're at 26 minutes for 5K. But what we're trying to do with this session is control it and pace it throughout so that the slowest and the fastest rep, there's not so much difference between them. In an ideal world, that would be 15 times 200 meters faster than 5K pace. So we're getting used to running faster than 5K pace to make 5K race pace, the intended pace that we're trying to hit, feel comfortable. It's a great session, and 15 times 200 meters, just 3 kilometers worth of volume, is an incredibly efficient session if we can move towards getting that faster than race pace. Session number 3. Now this is a great test, and it starts to give us an indication of where we're at the moment and how far away that sub 20 minute 5K is. All we're going to do is 4 times 5 minutes with 60 seconds rest in between. And as you can see, that 60 seconds rest is a constant recovery. And it's great to have that there because first of all, you're going to teach your body to recover very quickly, bring your heart rate from high to low within a very short space of time, which is an incredibly useful tool to have when you're racing, but also it will help you pace the intervals, whether it's a 200-meter interval you're running or a 5-minute interval. What we can get from that 4 times 5 minutes is, okay, how much ground can we cover within that 5-minute interval and also the total volume of 20 minutes. If that's already 5K, then you're laughing and you're moving in the right direction. And it means that split up 4 times 5 minutes, you can already get towards that point. And now it's about building that speed and endurance, your ability to sustain that pace for longer. And although it's a really good test, although it's a really good indicator, it's tempting to chase that 4 minutes per kilometer, that sub 20-minute 5K pace. Let the pace come to you. And what I mean by that is don't go into the red too soon. Control the 4 times 5 minutes and be as in control in that 4th rep as you were in the 1st rep, even though the perceived effort will be much more. And whether it's a 200-meter interval or a 5-minute interval, you still want to be finishing that session feeling like you could do more. Session number 4. All what we're going to do is 10 reps. 10 reps of 300 meters with 60 seconds rest in between. So it's a little bit longer than those 200-meter reps, and you will feel it. 300 meters is a long way, especially when you're pushing hard. But what we're trying to get from that is another 3 kilometers of total volume at faster than 5K pace. So again, work to what you're currently capable of. Focus on pacing the session and executing these sessions week after week strongly. Session number 5. All what we're gonna do is break up that chunk of 20 minutes a little bit more, so it should feel like an easier session to execute, but what then happens is we wanna go faster. And again, it should give you a really good indication based on the session 2 weeks ago, where we're at in terms of hitting that sub 20-minute goal or where we're really at for the 5K right now. All we're gonna do is 5 times 4 minutes with 60 seconds rest in between. So again, we want to be ideally hitting 5 kilometers in that total volume of 20 minutes, but as an indication of how much distance we cover in the 20 minutes, gives you a really good idea of where you're at right now in terms of your race target. And you're on fatigued legs, you're on these trained legs. Once you add a taper to this and freshen up a little bit with 7 to 10 days, you're gonna be a lot stronger. Session number 6. Now, an extension of what you've already done, all what we're gonna do, and you can do this the week before a 5K and still be in great shape to hit that 5K. Ideally, this would be 10 days before. So if you have this on the Wednesday, and then a week later, you're doing a race on a Saturday or Sunday, it fits perfectly. All we're gonna do is 6 times 500 meters with 60 seconds rest in between. So it's a continuation of those 200-meter and 300-meter reps. How fast can we now hold for half a kilometer for 500 meters? Ideally, these workouts get tougher because you're able to push faster than that 5K intended race pace, and you're able to see exactly where you are. So for me, that would look like something around 5 to 10% faster than what I can hold for 5K. What you want to do across those interval sessions, and you can see there's a nice mix there of very short intervals and longer intervals, is treat them like that 5K race. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's going to get tougher towards the end, just as it does in that 4th and 5th kilometer. You want to be practicing that pacing, whether it's 15 times 200 meters or whether it's 4 times 5 minutes. The more that you're able to practice that pacing and get used to the pace that you want to achieve in just a 6-7 week block, the better you're going to be at race day. What I would also advise is you can race a 5K all out every 4 weeks and race as often as you possibly can. And when you're not racing, I would use races as training. Get used to that nervous energy that you get just before a race, so that once you do come to a race that you really want to achieve a PB in, you're not feeling that so much. And in actual fact, you can feed off that energy and make it work for you. And if you want an extension of that sub 20-minute 5K plan, click on this link here. And if you want an extension for the 25-minute plan, click on this link here.